Hello beautiful people, today we're going to talk about how to deal with an unfair promotion at work. By the end of this video you won't be bothered with what's fair and what's unfair because you'll have super powerful tools to be able to look after yourself. We're going to look at what is an unfair promotion. We're also going to turn it around and see if there isn't a more powerful way of looking at it, and spoiler alert, of course there is. And I'm also going to help you answer the question, why did I get passed over for a promotion? So this one's a really hard one because what's fair? I have a daughter, and when she was small, she would come home, as most 4 or 5 year olds would do, and she would say, "Mom, so-and-so wasn't fair to me today at school." And I always said to her, "Sweetheart, there's really no such thing as fair and unfair. The world just does what the world does, and you either choose to accept it and work with it, or you can stomp in the corner and do fair and unfair." I really encourage you to start thinking about what actually is fair and what do you do about it. A much more powerful question than whether or not a promotion was fair or unfair is for you to ask yourself, what did I do that did not allow me to be able to get the promotion that I wanted? So what we're doing in there is we're putting you squarely in the middle of things rather than saying that someone else is determining what is fair and what is unfair and that you're being victimized by it. If you want to ask yourself why you got passed over for a promotion, I strongly recommend that you begin with the promotion readiness assessment. You'll find the link for it down below in the description. And that's where you can really get honest with yourself. So if you got passed over for a promotion, and you do the promotion readiness assessment and you come back with numbers between 80 and 100, then we need to have a different conversation. But if you come back with numbers that are probably below 80, then let's turn it around and look at what your role is in terms of you getting promoted. It's much more empowering for you to be able to recognize that there's an awful lot you can do to get yourself promoted, rather than sitting in a corner and having a sulk like a 4-year-old and being upset because you felt it was unfair that you didn't get promoted. If you did do the promotion readiness assessment and you score between 80 and 100 and you still didn't get promoted, now is a really good time to have a very powerful one-on-one with your boss. First thing you need to do before you go into that conversation with your boss is to put aside all the blame and shame associated with the assessment of fair and unfair. You need to go in there with genuine curiosity. You're not looking to blame your boss as to why it is you didn't get promoted. You're going to take responsibility for that yourself. But you're also curious as to what it is that's going on inside the company, because pretty much I can guarantee you something else is going on inside the company. And if something's going on inside the company, like you're having a downturn in revenue, you're setting up organization in a new country that is siphoning off a whole lot of the investment money that would normally happen. There's a hiring freeze because you're not growing as you expected and the shareholders are unhappy. There are a lot of external circumstances that could be happening right now that would mean that there just wasn't room for you to be able to get promoted. So if you can put aside the blame and aside the assessment of fair and unfair, sit down with your boss and have a one-on-one. And the question that you're really asking is, I was hoping to get promoted, as you know, because we talked about it last February or March, and I'm just wondering why it is that I didn't get promoted. What do I need to be doing differently? Was it out of your control? Was it out of my control? Is there something else that I need to be able to understand? Important thing to recognize about what I just said is I'm not doing blame or shame around it. I'm actually just living in inquiry. I'm asking what is going on. If I march into my boss's office and I demand to know why I didn't get promoted, which a lot of people do because they get uncomfortable and then they do what's really inside their heart and soul and they demand to know why they didn't get promoted, you're going to get a lot of pushback. If you go in with just genuine curiosity about what the bigger circumstances are that didn't allow you to be able to get promoted, you can have a really valuable conversation with your boss. Now, you might learn that some of the circumstances are way beyond your control. Some of the circumstances are way beyond her control, and that you're just going to have to wait for the next promotion cycle to come. But at least you'll know whether or not it is your responsibility and there's a lot more that you can do, or you know whether it's completely outside of your control and you just need to be more patient. If it is your responsibility and there's a lot more you can do, use the promotion readiness assessment to be able to build a plan from, and we'll talk more about plans for getting promoted in another video. If it's outside of your control, then it requires patience. But it also means that you now have someone who understands where you're coming from and is very, very willing to help you learn new skills, take some time off, maybe go and do some work in a different department. There's a whole variety of other things that you can do in the absence of a promotion that will really set you up for getting promoted the next time the opportunity presents itself, and might also allow you to be able to look at different career paths, or look at changes that you might want to make in the organization, or take on a unique project that can add an enormous amount of value. I know that historically there are stories around special projects, and usually when people are doing special projects, it means that they're in the parking lot to be exited. But there are some pretty unique and powerful projects that you could potentially take on at this moment that would allow you to be able to grow and get more of a sense of how you add value and what brings you joy. So you're getting ready to have this very important one-on-one. The number one ground rule is no blame, no shame. So if you walk into your boss and you're expecting them to be able to answer why was this unfair, your boss isn't working in fair and unfair. Your boss is working in terms of what they have budget for and what they don't. So no blame, no shame opens the door for you to be able to have a much more valuable conversation than you otherwise would have. When you ask about how to deal with an unfair promotion, if this is you asking for a friend, I suggest you don't. I suggest that you do some of the actions that I outlined above, that you have those awkward and difficult conversations, that you get yourself to the point where you're mature and responsible enough that you're actually able to be curious as opposed to be looking for someone to blame, and you go in and you have that one-on-one conversation with your boss. Get yourself ready for it. Let us know how it goes in the comments below, and I wish you good luck.